So, I get my watch so that I can have some idea of the time this little conversation is going to take. But it's a needed conversation to have. You see, you're lonely, all of you. Even if you're married, even if you're in the throes of new love, you may not notice it, but there's a loneliness that pervades you. And you don't know yourself. See, you're lonely for yourself, and you're lonely for your God, and you're lonely to be loved and to love, to make a difference, to communicate, to be understood. But for some reason, Western men, I'm not sure, I think Eastern men, most men, the Middle East is full of this today, so we're no stranger to it either, but the theory that the purpose of life is a man's pleasure. Fuck the broad. Feels good for me, it must be good for her. Understand? This is the mindset of a boy, not a man. And see, on the best of days, what we have today are boys walking around this planet, pissing in each other's buckets, trying to pretend they're erudite and cool, hip, to whatever skew they're humping. So, men are more interested in making money than they are in their women. Men are more interested in making money than they are in their children. And they're more interested in making money certainly than their God. And they're lonely. Whether they're married or not, they're lonely. So are the women. And women have been lonely for a long, long time and been sexually frustrated, certainly in the Western universe, for a long, long time. Think of this. Where in France the women are supposed to be so beautiful, so one would conclude that the French men would be just the cat's ass in bed. France, about the turn of the last century or slightly before this, to the best of my lights, in the old days, like the 1880s, 90s, 1910, women would go to the doctor for female hysteria, female problems, and basically what it was the doctor would give the women a hand job. Their husbands were incapable or disinterested or unconcerned about their wife's sexual fulfillment. So, and it was happening so often that in France, there's one, I guess, general practitioner or doctor, I guess it would be, invented the dildo. He got tired of, he had so many female clients that wanted a hand job, he got tired of doing it. Now, I never did, just so you understand. This guy did, so he invented the dildo. That's an artificial penis, in case you don't know, I'm listening to this tape. So it throbs and vibrates, and it's nice and stiff, and it works quite well. As a matter of fact, there's no man that can compete with a dildo. But then there's no dildo that can compete with a man either, because there's still a loneliness, an unsatisfyingness, no matter how great the orgasm is with a dildo. It can't hug you. And it doesn't even leave its toothpaste on your sink or anything. Now, a dildo is preferable to most men these days, because most men have no cognition of themselves, and hence have a complete inability to relate to their wives or with their wives. Understand? Like, You don't know what it is to treasure each other. You just don't. You've lost sight of yourselves and the process of each other. And so you're running around trying to get unlonely in every goddamn fucking conceivable contortion that exists other than telling the truth. It's the only thing you haven't tried. Tried going to the moon and Mars and theorize about deep space travel and the benefits or drawbacks of black holes in the sun. What the fuck? Is there anybody on Earth that knows about black holes in the sun? You don't even know whether you're going around the sun or the sun's going around you. This is modern physics. Can't figure this out. So that pretty much leaves you right where you were when you started, except in debt. In every way conceivable. You're on the fly now, pay Neverland plan, remember? Particularly those of you living in the United States. We bugger the fucking world for free. We got the biggest guns there are. Except now we can't afford to pay for the ammunition to put in them. If we go to the Federal Reserve, we got to con them into printing some more currency. The currency we do have will be valueless. That's the thing. And the reason your group of experts couldn't figure out what the fuck they were doing is they couldn't agree on who was going to pay. The guys with the money want the poor people to pay. It's their job. I've been fucking them all my life. I'm not going to stop now. I'm not saying that every wealthy man does this. There are many who don't. Many who don't. Most would be embarrassed to be caught wearing this type of clothing. Many will be found wearing this type of clothing, but we're hoping there's a few. We know there's a few who aren't. So we're hoping for more. But we're going to find out. It's all coming out in the wash, as they say. And the wash has already begun. WikiLeaks is just the tip of the iceberg. I'm your king. I'm going to see to it that this happens as quickly and as expeditiously as I possibly can. The horse shit's over. The loneliness ride is done unless you want it some more. There's a provision for that. You need to understand this. You can choose for that. It's called hell. It's a 1,000-year curriculum. And believe me, when push comes to shove, I don't want to be on the wrong side of my boss. None of you. I really don't. So, you need to choose. Truth, or the bastard child of your ego, illusion. You're going to worship one or the other. You cannot worship both at the same time. Truth is a subtle bitch mistress. She puts up with very little fucking around. You want to worship the truth, be serious about it. Be willing to be unfucking reasonable about it with yourself first and foremost. Forget about others. You get done with yourself, then you come and talk to me. I'll tell you how to get unreasonable with men. You get done with yourself, and then we'll have that conversation. Okay? It took me about 40 years, So, but you don't have to take the long way home all the time. There's less scenic routes that are more direct and better for you to consume. Anyway, but you got three choices basically. You can take the long way home, the short way home, or no way home. That's it. It's the only time you get three choices generally too. That's the only time I've ever heard of it. For me, I got one choice. Here it is. Choose it. I do. I do, so help me God, I know. Anyway, so you need to know stuff about being men and women. You do. You don't know. Your parents didn't tell you this. Your parents were too afraid of your budding sexuality to have anything to do with you. They just basically ignored you. Expect you to figure it out on your own, and they pretended it didn't exist. Or some variation on that theme. It wasn't important, it wasn't a big thing, or da-da-da-da. Meanwhile, the kids are stuffed with raging hormones. They'd fucking rock if they could find one that'd be agreeable. And the adults don't know nothing. Don't talk to me about that. I get all fuggy. And I get embarrassed. That's how the kids learn to get embarrassed. You understand? Anyway, you're fucked. You don't know how to be men and women. Before you can learn how to be men and women, you need to be worshiping the true. I keep harping it on this. But I can't talk to you. There's no fucking point in me opening my mouth if this isn't the case. And believe me, you need some guidance, and I'm the only fucking game in town right now. So listen up. You got three choices in this deal. You can worship the true, you can worship your ego or your illusion, or what was the third one again? You can move to another island. Understand? There's benefits and costs to each decision. Costs and benefits. In one decision, you have profit as a certainty. In both other decisions, you have loss as a certainty. Choose. Now, I need to get you healthy in the worst way. I don't get to be with the being I love more than my own life. A lot more than my own life. Until I do, I have a job to do with you. And basically my job is to unpervert you. Right now, you're living in deep sickness. And you're so used to it, you don't see it anymore. Do you understand? You're impervious to your own cancer of mind, body, emotion, and spirit. And the sunlight of God is the only salvation you have. Jesus is not going to do it for you. Buddha's not going to do it for you. Muhammad's not going to do it for you. I'm not going to do it for you. Nobody's going to do this for you. You're going to do this yourself. You're imaginative. You're sentient. There are things required of you. Period. In order for you to profit. You see, this is the thing that people never got. God wants you to profit. He wants authentic increase. Now, even You are getting bored and tired of your own horse shit. You're running around trying to get band-aids to see if we can make it last a little longer. I'll pad up my van account just a little more before the shit hits the fan, and then there I'll be with all my stolen dough and Bob Chuckle. Fuck them. I got mine. Well, see, there's been an adjustment to the script. It's over. Not like that. Everything is stolen. You're going to put back. Now, I'm trying to figure out how to get this happened as soon as possible. For your sake, as well as mine. So, I had a kind of a rather lengthy hiatus from service and duty, and it's over now. I have my health back, and I need to see some results. So, I need you to get busy with this. I need you to begin the King's Bar. Worship the true. You're living in a poisonous swill that will drown you. Babylon's gone, fucking the Byzantine Empire's gone, the Habsburgs are gone, the Caesars are gone, the Khans are gone. Do not delude yourselves into thinking you can just circumvent the broom of God. Every once in a while there's a house cleaning go on, and this is one of those times. House cleaning, and I'm your janitor with an attitude. So let's get busy, shall we? I'm serious. I can be extremely uncomfortable to have anywhere in the same universe with you if you cross me on this. So, please understand, we don't whistle Dixie here. You have a decision, a choice to make. Am I going to get up off my ass and do whatever it takes to worship the truth, find out what the fuck it is, do whatever I need to do to bring truth front and center between my eyeballs? Right about here. I want to have truth stamped inside your skull right there. And if you practice your life congruent with the subtle voice of truth inside yourself, you might even someday actually get to be yourself. Right now you've put yourself in jail. You don't trust yourself at all, and with good reason. You're undependable. If there's a penny, a nickel to be made, and I can get away with it if I have to steal, no problem. No problem. I'll connive, slut myself about the universe in any goddamn drag that might make me a nickel. That's what your psychiatrists, many of your medicine men, virtually, I have theorized all of the accountants, all banking personnel, follow that care 100%. The raging memes are uninteresting for an audience, particularly an enlightened audience, particularly a divinely enlightened audience. It's not pretty. In this world, there's nothing to brag about right now. Not only do I not have bragging rights, like I'm barely able to stand and look at myself in the mirror from embarrassment. The condition of this fucking place, and every day I look deeper and see more and more depravity, more sick and twisted horse shit that is vomitous. My puke's done. Yours is just beginning. Get fucking used to it and get busy. I'm your king. And you're watching this. I'm ordering you to choose truth or illusion. And yep, it's time. And you're it. The music has stopped and you're standing. We got the only seat in the room. It says so right in the Bible. Check it out.